Banana Slam Jam.
So, hello, this is BSJ. This is going to be a video talking about what I believe to be the biggest overall changes to impacting the meta for 7.25. Obviously, we're not talking about specific heroes in this case. We're talking about things that will affect all heroes in terms of which heroes benefit from it or which heroes are hurt by it. Or which players are hurt by it or benefit from it. So first, we're going to talk about your pubs in every game you're playing, especially at the highest level. And I think one of the biggest changes is the first one listed on the patch, which is that instead of doing the old pick order, now each team at the same time will pick a hero. And if both heroes pick the same hero, or if both players pick the same hero, whoever picked first gets it, and the other player will get a chance to decide again. The point of this is, though, each team is matching up their picks. And when you're picking last, you don't get to see the other hero when you're picking 10th. Meaning, there's no more 10th pick cheese going on. At least as nearly as drastic as it was before. If you're going to be the last pick mid, for instance, the most important thing to think about, whatever role you're picking for, is looking at your own lineup and saying, what hero is really good against what we currently have? So say your lineup can't deal with Broodmother anymore. Like, none of your heroes can deal with Broodmother in your 10th pick, in your last picking mid for your team. In the previous patch, if you were 9th pick, you'd have to consider Broodmother, and you'd be like, oh, I'm going to pick Kunkka or like Bristleback to lane against a potential Broodmother. And then the opponent will just like Razor or Huskar you because the heroes you picked to make sure Broodmother wasn't picked to be like an like you just lose instantly in the draft, or like a Meepo, for instance. Now you just get insta counterpicked in the mid lane and you lose really hard. Now, all you have to do is make sure you think about all the cheese heroes like Broodmother, Meepo, all this kind of shenanigans, and just make sure whatever hero you pick is good against those. And also, like, decent for the game. But, like, meaning you don't have to worry about getting absolutely hard lane countered as much as you used to. And that's a big thing for thinking about how you're drafting in pubs, but also, like, reducing the power of these heroes in pubs and making it so the dynamic in terms of balance of both teams picking is much more equal. Also, every game, there's going to be 10 heroes banned. So just keep that in mind. Everyone was going to nominate. Each hero flips a coin, no matter how many were nominated. However many less than 10 are nominated, it will ban up to 10, based on the most popular bans nominated in your bracket. So it's really cool. So if a hero's really broken in low levels, or like you see Pudge at your 2K MMR games every game, a lot of games, the Pudge is just going to get banned, which is awesome. So I think this really reduces the staleness of the meta because there's just going to be that many more heroes banned every game. And you're like those, even though there's like always 5 to 10 broken heroes every patch, we're not going to see them every single game, which I like a lot. So these are two huge changes for me that affect your pubs and the quality of life of them. Next change is going to be the hero kill sprees drastically increasing in terms of how much people get. The comeback mechanic is kind of gone, but the kill sprees are drastically increased. So what you have to be really careful of is getting kill sprees on supports early. I'd say really good support players are going to try to avoid getting kill sprees if possible, like meaning if they can let their cores get the last hit, they're going to, because now it's not based on your net worth, it's based on whether or not you have a kill spree when the opponent kills you, which is a huge deal for like a support 5 position with 9th biggest net worth in the game. Previously it would give virtually no gold, and now they give a bonus 200 gold just for being on a kill spree at like 7 minutes. So very worth noting there. So my next major focus on the overall approach to the game is going to be the fact that all of these aura items got reduced in cost and removed 3 all stats. So every lane, I think, is going to have at least 1 or 2 of these items that are incredibly efficient, whether or not it's the armor to push towers from Buckler, as well as like buff up your ally. It's the Ring of Basilius to spam your spells. It's even better at that than it was before. And Headdress gives even more regen than before. So if you have like a sustained heavy lane, I think we're going to be seeing a ton of Headdresses, a ton of Basilius, and a ton of Bucklers, because Buckler went from 500 to 375. Basilius, they all went down to 375 cost, down from 450 for Headdress and Basilius, and down from 500 for Buckler. So they're much more affordable. Like, you can buy these items and get tangos and a salve, or you can get tangos and 2 mangoes. You still have, or tango and a mango and a clarity. You still have gold left over to actually buy other items. And I think it's really important that when you're going into your laning stage to think about your laning ally, to think about your laning opponents, and consider which one of these items, if not two of them, between the two of you are buying two of them, could be incredibly valuable for whatever lane you're going against. You're going against a heavy harass lane, you better have a headdress on one of you, primarily the support. If you are if you're in a lane where you have two heroes that just want to spam spells, Ring of Basilius got even better. And I think Vladimir's as an item went way up in value because it got 200 gold cheaper and it's basically the same item. So see a lot of those, keep those in mind. Big difference in the laning stage and something everyone should be paying attention to and thinking about critically in their starting item, spending their 600 initial gold. The next major highlight I want to give is the nerf to Javelin, which went from 100 damage to 80, as well as the nerf to Mjolnir. I'm highlighting these because these are farming items. These are damage items. And then I moused over Battle Fury, which effectively went up in cost by 50, but includes a Mithril Hammer and a Broadsword rather than a Demon Edge. So it's much easier build up for heroes that kind of lack damage early. You know, the PAs, maybe even anti-mages that don't necessarily need the Voidstone. Maybe even some games you don't need the Ring of Health. And now you get to buy the components in a much cheaper, more efficient build up. Rather than the saving up for 2200 for the Demon Edge. So it's definitely a huge quality of life buff for Battle Fury. Maelstrom got nerfed again. And I think what I'm seeing from this patch is that Mask of Madness has been buffed in the previous patches. Maelstrom's been nerfed over and over again. Sanjin Yasha, it seems like a very effective item for almost every carry, especially when paired with Mask of Madness. And what I mean is heroes that benefit from Battle Fury, Mask of Madness, Sanjin Yasha as like luxury farm efficiency items are going to be better. And any hero that relied on Maelstrom is going to be worse. And I think pretty much all the aggressive heroes in the game are going to rely on Diffusal. But all these items keep getting nerfed. So it's a matter of how much of the pace of the game, like the Diffusals and the Maelstroms can set to punish these greedy builds. And I think you're going to see a lot more Battle Furies and a lot more Sanjin Yashas. So check that out for sure in your games, and definitely look out for heroes that benefit from this, such as, you know, the Troll Warlords, the Anti-Mages. I mean, even just I saw Matu going treads Sanjin Yasha on Ursa, and because of the Fury Swipes buff, he got a lot of farm just by running around the map. I'm saying that Sanjin Yasha may not seem like a farming item, but it does just make you move faster as well as attack faster. So on heroes that have innate damage, it does make you farm faster. So it's one of those things where I think Mask of Madness SNY will be a popular build, and also Battle Fury on heroes that can get away with it. My last change that I really want to highlight paying attention to is the reworks of saving items for your teammates. Lotus Orb went up in mana cost. Force Staff and Hurricane Pike are dispellable, which means that they are a buff that is placed on you when you are force stabbing. And if that is dispelled, you stop moving. So what that means is, for instance, if Shadow Demon ulti is placed on you, which is a continuous debuff, you can no longer be force staffed. Like, the force staff will be used, but it doesn't do anything. And the range for casting these abilities on you from the force staff and the glimmer has been reduced in terms of the area that they can encompass by about half. If you do the math on radius for calculations and everything, the area around you that you can save somebody is about half. So it takes a lot closer positioning, a lot more punishing. And now Nullifier no longer mutes people, which means they can use items, but it now continuously dispels. So it can be purged by like a Yules or a Lotus or a BKB or a Manta. But if you nullify somebody, they can't be saved by their teammates. They can't be force staffed. They can't be glimmer caped. And they can't be like Solar Crested to man up on you. They can't Satanic, but they can be like Lotus Orb and stuff. So it's the same thing in terms of Nullifier being dispellable, but this item is very different. These save items are very different, and I think it's going to be a buff to heroes that rely on items to defend themselves, and it's going to be a nerf to these overall save items that make it hard in the late game when the opponent has, you know, 2 or 3 force stabs, a Glimmer Cape or 2, and the fact that the Nullifier stats, the cast range, the cooldown, the armor, the damage, got buffed. A lot of heroes that all they need is the ability to lock down heroes in the mid game. If they don't have Yules, like, you can just go on supports. There's no item that defends them. You know, Ghost Scepter is going to get purged, Glimmer Cape's going to get purged, Force Staves get purged, and most notably, the hero you go on is the only one that matters. Previously, you had to worry about all the teammates saving them. Now, the only item that can save a teammate is Lotus Orb, or obviously abilities like Legion Commander or Abaddon with the Dispels. But it's going to be much harder to kill cores with this item. Heroes that were previously removed from the game because they couldn't BKB or, save themselves with a BKB or Manta are now better against Nullifier. But the fact that the item's just way different in this manner is kind of cool. So those are my major changes for the patch, and these are the things I'm really looking forward to affecting the general game of Dota for 7.25. And I appreciate you guys checking out this video.